What's going on, man? It's Sona Kim here, America's face of dating. Today we're going to do, I guess, a vlog is what you guys want to call it. And so you guys have been asking me a lot, can you do a vlog for me? Can you do a vlog for me? Can you answer my question on a vlog? Well, today, here you have it. And so what we're going to be really talking about today is how do you approach and successfully get the number of a girl that's in your class, or even on an instant date is what they like to call it. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we have a question from a viewer to where he approached a girl in class and he really wanted to know like what he could improve on, or like what he did good and what he could do better with that. And so it's actually going to help a lot of you guys if you guys are actually in school or you're going back to university and you're, maybe you're not really looking for a girl, but you'd like to know actually how to approach and talk to a girl that's in your class. And something that I emphasize is that a lot of you guys, when you guys want to go approach somebody, you say you feel uncomfortable, you feel stress, you feel nervous, you feel anxiety. That's just building up in your chest, right? It's like you just feel it just in the depthness of your gut. You just feel this stress or this anxiety. And here's the thing, bro. That's a good thing. Why? Why is that a good thing? The reason that it's a good thing is that when you are uncomfortable, what does it mean? What does it symbolize? Most people perceive it that it's a bad thing. No. You got to perceive it that's actually a good thing. Why? Because you're growing. There are so many people that I knew in high school, so many people that I still see today that I grew up with in middle school, high school, from where I was from, that, yeah, they may have been the shit in high school, they may have been the shit in middle school, they may have been cocky and cool, like the popular kids, right? But the fact is that they chose comfort over uncomfort. They chose comfort, and where has that led them? They are the exact same as they've always been. Fat, lazy, not doing anything with their lives. I saw this quote yesterday that said, people that grew up with nothing tend to do more. People that grew up with less do more, right? And there's a reason for that. It's because you have drive in you. People who really it was just given to them when they were younger, it's like they just choose comfort. They're like, I don't really need to do anything. And why? And they're the same. Decades later, they're the exact same. They haven't grown anywhere. They haven't done anything with their life. They're still fat. They're getting fatter and fatter by the day. They're getting lazier and lazier by the day because they've done nothing with their life. They have no purpose. They have no drive. And so what I want you guys to do, if you really want to get better at your attraction skills or your dating skills, then you have to be uncomfortable, because that's what's going to make you grow. And what is growth? It means that you are creating solutions to problems that are currently in your life, which means that overall, in the next year, the next 2 years, you're going to be so much more advanced than all those people that chose certainty, that chose comfort. And most people, 99% of the world, they choose that comfort. You don't want to be that. And so when you're in class and you see that cute girl, figure out a way to get that number. Figure out a way to go talk to her. You don't even have to get the number. Figure out a way to go flirt with her, to go talk to her, to have a good laugh with her. Do that. At least go do something that's going to help you grow right now, today. A cold shower, something. But he asks here, he says, I saw a cute girl, so I was like, I'm going to go approach her. He says, he goes up to her and he says, excuse me. And she started to giggle and blush. Is that a good sign? Yeah, it's a good sign. Why? It's because she probably already knows what you're going to do, what you're going to try. She's like, and the giggling and the blushing means that she's flustered. It means that she's open to the idea. She's like, okay, well, you know what? Like, I'll give it a shot. Like, let's see what you got, big boy. And he says, listen, I'm about to leave class, but I couldn't leave without introducing myself. He says, hi, I'm Alex, or hi, I'm whatever the name he put in there. And then she says, and then he adds, do you think that I could grab your number? She says, yeah, sure. And then he says, you better not have a boyfriend or I'll be disappointed. And she says, no, I don't. And so while he's getting the number in his phone, he says, put your favorite emoji in with it. And then he asked me, I feel like I could have done more to spark it. Maybe I should have looked at her outfit and teased her on what she was wearing. He says that she was wearing nice jeans and then a button down, like kind of like a dress shirt kind of thing. And so let's talk about the pros of this, man. Let's talk about the pros really quick, right? Let's talk about the pros. Because you can't talk about the cons without the pros. And you can't talk about the pros without the cons, right? You got to balance. That's what Thanos talks about. Life is about balance. Gods are about perfection. What is perfection? It's balance, okay? And so let's talk about the pros really quick. Is that you got the number, bro. You should be fucking ecstatic about that. Like, at least, you know what? You right there going up and actually approaching a girl and getting her number, what does that show? That you're better than 99% of other men out there. Because what would other men do? They would choose that comfort, like I talked about in the front of the video here, is that they would choose that comfort. They would choose that certainty. You know what? Like, yeah, I could go make myself uncomfortable and go approach her, but she could reject me, and I don't really want to feel that pain, so I'm not going to go do that, right? When you're getting her number, another positive to this, something I constantly emphasize to people is that when you're getting a girl's number, what you want to do when you're getting her number is that you want to basically, most guys are so awkward when they're getting a girl's number. They're so fucking awkward. Like, basically, like, they're good in the beginning, they're good at the start, they're getting her number, right? They're getting her number, and while they're putting the number in, they just sit there and they just stare at her, like, watching her put a number in. And what does that make her feel like subconsciously? Oh, he's just talking to me to get something from me, okay? It's almost like a beggar on the street. What happens when you see a beggar on the street? You tend to avoid him. Why? Because you already know that he's going to try to ask you for something. You're going to try to get something from you, okay? And so what is that constant, when the last thing, after you get the number, most people just run off after that. They're just like, oh, I got the number, okay, bye. And like, after that, like, she just feels used. She feels like you were just talking to her to get the number. And that's never a good way to leave it off, because women, they tend to remember how you make them feel in the conversation. They tend to remember, especially when you're trying to get them out on a date later, they remember how you made them feel in the conversation. And if you make them feel like you use them, how are you ever going to get them out on a date? You never fucking will. And so what you want to do is, like, when you're asking for her number, while she's putting it in, still make dialogue with her, still make conversation with her while you're talking to her. What you want to do is that, something I love doing is that, when I'm just like, you know what, like, I want to put an emoji by your name so I can remember you. I was like, what is something that, like, reminds me of you? And I'll usually pick, like, the ugliest emoji of all time. I'll pick, like, the ugliest fucking emoji. And she'll be like, okay, like, what emoji are you going to pick? And I'll be like, oh, like, maybe you're like the snail. You're right. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, why would you choose the snail? Like, do I look slow, or do I look slimy to you? And like, it creates that banter. Like, she's gonna remember how you made her feel, remember? So if you make her feel that emotional spark of desire, that she's more likely gonna go out with you in the future. Okay? Let's talk about the cons now, though. Let's talk about the things that you can improve on, especially like if you're in class and you want to go approach a girl. You got to know this stuff, because this stuff is actually gonna help you overall with your attraction and dating. And so, first, asking if she has a boyfriend. There's some people that think that you should ask a girl if she has a boyfriend. I tend to not be that person. Why am I not that person? Why do I think that you should never ask a girl if she has a boyfriend? Because to me, it's irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant? Because it's irrelevant because you're gonna know, okay? You're gonna know if a girl has a boyfriend in the conversation, or if she's even happy, because there's some girls out there that they're in a relationship and they're not happy, because 99% of relationships out there, I don't know if you've noticed, but they end in a fucking train wreck, okay? They end in a train wreck. And so it's like, there are girls and guys that are in relationships and they're not happy, and they're still gonna flirt with you. And so it's like, you're gonna know if the girl is in a happy relationship with a guy, because either she's just gonna tell you up front, she's gonna be like, yeah, listen, like, you're cool and all, but I do have a boyfriend, but I do respect you for coming up and actually talking to me. Or you're just going to tell by her body language that she's just not that interested in you. And what you do from there is that you're just like, okay, well, you know what, like, it was really nice meeting you. And then you just walk off and go on your route. And that's really all you got to do there. But here's the thing is, like, never ask a girl if she has a boyfriend. Because that automatically positions you as lower value. Because you're like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? Because if you don't have a boyfriend, then I'm going to hit on you. But if you do have a boyfriend, then I'm not going to hit on you. And what does that tell her? It tells her that if there's something in your way that's major, then you're going to stop what you're doing. Does that sound like a man to you? Does that sound like a man that's on his path, on his mission, that he has a little obstacle in his way, like another guy's going to stop him from flirting and talking to her like he wants to talk to her? No. If you're a man, if you're going to do the things that you want to do, you're going to talk to her and flirt with her no matter what the fuck is up with it. No matter if she has a boyfriend or not. Okay? So what that tells her, if you ask her, oh, do you have a boyfriend? It tells her, oh, if you do have a boyfriend, then I won't flirt on you. I won't do the things that I actually want with you. But if you do not have a boyfriend, then I'll flirt with you, right? It's like they think they're being respectful, but it just makes you look weak, because it just shows her that. What does that say about you in life? It shows her that if there's a little obstacle in your way, then you're not going to be the man that you're supposed to be to actually get through that obstacle. And what that does is actually bad. That's my opinion on it, okay? Some people might not agree with that. Some people may agree with it. But I tend to find it works out way better if you just don't tell her straight up, like if you don't ask her. What I would have said instead, mouthful right there, is that I would have asked, so he says, excuse me, she started giggling and blush. He went about and he said, can I grab your number? He's like, it would be a disservice to me. That's what I would say. I'd be like, it would be a disservice for a guy like me to not grab your number. And so here's the funny thing about hot girls in class, bro, is that you've probably noticed that if there's a hot girl in class, like most guys, this goes back to that comfort thing I talked about in the beginning. Most guys, they will not go sit by her. Okay, there's like a whole like empty seat like circle around her. Why? It's like she has the plague or something like that, right? It's like she has the plague or she's sick or something like that. Because guys they're so afraid. Oh, she's hot. I'm afraid of her. I fear that. I fear that she's so hot. No, you want to go up and talk to her. You want to tease her on that. You want to go up and be like, God, baby, like, why isn't anybody sitting by you? Like, you sick or something? Like, you and no friends? Like, there has to be something wrong with you, right? You start teasing her that way. She's like, no, I'm not sick or anything. I'm like, all right, like, I'll sit by you, but, you know, like, one cough and I'm out of here, girl. So I'm watching you. I'm my eye on you, right? You start teasing her and, like, you're already in with that. You're already flirting with her, the hottest girl in class. You look like a fucking pimp. But what I would have said to this girl is that I would have been like, so, after that, I'd have been like, what's a semi-cute girl? You hear these cicadas? Loud as fuck. I'd have been like, so what's a semi-cute girl like you doing in a semi-boring class like this? And then she would have started talking about herself. She's like, oh, I'm Becca, or like, I'm Amy, and I'm here because of this and that. She starts telling you her story. She starts opening up to you. And what I commonly tell people is that there's 4 phases to pickup. And what the 4 phases are is that there's the open, there's the attraction, there's the rapport, and then there's the close, okay? And this guy, he just went from open to close like that, and the chances of you actually getting her on a date when you go from open to close are like 0. Because, like I said, she remembers how you make her feel, and so what you want to do is you want to spark some attraction within her first and build some rapport, and that's going to have a better chance of you actually getting her out in person. Make sense? And so what I say from here is like, if I would have opened her and I'm like, and she would have told me about her story, she would have opened up to me. She'd have been like, I was like, so what's a semi-cute girl like you doing in a semi-boring class like this? You know, it's basically saying like she's semi-cute. She's like, oh, I'm semi-cute. You start that attraction, that banter, that married couple banter. After that, after she's told, it's called DOR, D-O-R, demonstration of her reality. Okay, DOR. And what this means is that after she opens up to you and she tells you why she's in that class and her story and everything, so I'm like, so you're Amy, you're in this class because of blank, you look like you like Starbucks, you look like you go to Starbucks like every day on the regular, and you probably dressed as like a princess when you were younger for Halloween, is that right? And you got a sassy personality. And she'd been like, what the fuck? Like, where'd you get this from? Like, she'd been like, what am I doing that's like, excuse me, that's giving you those vibes about me? And that's really, really good because now, what does that create? It creates, you have something that she now wants to know. And that's what I would have done right there. I would have done a demonstration of her reality. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Like, I'd have been like, well, she's like, I don't go to Starbucks so often. I'd be like, oh yeah, you don't? I was like, when's the last time you've been? She's like 2 days ago. I'm like, oh my God, like you're so fucking basic for that. But I would have bantered with her. But here's the thing is that, otherwise, like, you got the number. And so what you want to do is like, you want to strike while the iron is hot. Most dating coaches, here's one more tip really quick, is that most dating coaches, they're like, well, maybe, like, you should wait, like, 3 nights to text her. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, here's the good thing about my work, is that you spark attraction instantly. You spark attraction instantly with her. And so what you want to do is, like, she's thinking about you. And this hits one of the basic human needs to feel wanted, to feel special, is that when you spark attraction with her, she's waiting for that text from you. She's like, when's he going to text me? And if you don't text her that night, then she's going to feel like you don't care about that. She's not that important, right? Like, why'd you talk to me like this? Like, why'd you spark all this attraction with me? And you're not going to text me, kind of thing. Like, yeah, it's good, but, like, it makes her feel important, like she's special. That's what's going to make her obsessed with you in the long run, is that if you text her, like, if you spark all this desire within her, then you text her that night, the iron is hot, man. They tell you that for a reason, that strike while the iron is hot, after you've created all this emotion, because she has so many guys hitting her up. I bet if she's hot, she probably has like 10 guys in her DMs per day. She's gonna forget about you, man, if you don't fucking spark some desire with her and hit her up that night and get her out on a fucking date. But otherwise, man, you got the number, bro, so go text her and strike while the iron is hot. I'm Son of Kim, America's Face of Dating. I will see you in the next vlog.